Padres organization the last 3 years as the bench coach to Bud Black, and he actually makes his home about an hour north in Temecula. He'll stay at the team hotel, however, this weekend. Let's hear from the manager on returning home.
Well, you know, this was my home for quite a few years, obviously, and have a lot of great friends here, a lot of good memories, a lot of really good experiences, and part of it's probably been pivotal in, you know, lending itself to the opportunity that I'm taking advantage of right now. So, no, it's good memories. I'm trying to separate a little bit, you know, because we are Cubs against the Pods, so I'm still, even though I'm close to home, we're out here trying to do the best we can to defeat the Padres.
20 of the next 26 will be on the road for the Cubs, and we start in one of the most beautiful cities in the country, San Diego. It's the Cubs and the Padres next. Anniversary of their pennant-winning season. Well, it's the West Coast, and it's at night, so a lot of baseball has already been played, and Mark Burley is now 8-1 as the Jays just swept the Red Sox 7-2 the final today. JD, the Red Sox went 0-6 on their homestand. That's the first time that's happened since 1994.
Well, the AL East, expected to be a very strong division, has proven to be not so strong so far this year. And Toronto's starting to gain a lot of attention, the way they're hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And if Burley continues to pitch the way he has pitched, he's going to have a monster year. But that Toronto club, one worth keeping an eye on. You know, we just saw the Yankees. They didn't really excite me too much. The Rays are having their problems. So could be a big year up in the Great White North.
And we'll see the Blue Jays in September in Toronto during interleague play. Left-hander Eric Stoltz will face this Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Emilio Bonifacio, hitting .400 from the right side this year, will lead it off. Junior Lake's been hot as of late. The former Padre Anthony Rizzo tied for the league lead in walks. Castro 0 for 6 to snap the hitting streak yesterday. Mike Olson third. Wellington Castillo the catcher. Nate Scherholtz gets the start in right. Darwin Barney's at second, and the pitcher Jake Arrieta.
Here's the Padres defense, brought to you by Kia. Seth Smith, Cameron Maben, Will Venable. Cover this big outfield here at Petco Park. Headley, Cabrera, Jerko, Alonso third to first. Nick Hundley behind the plate. Alexis starting pitcher for San Diego tonight is 34-year-old left-hander Eric Stoltz, a finesse left-hander. He's made 9 starts. He's 2-4 with an ERA 4.50. He's not a strikeout guy. You see the numbers there. He's just punched out 21 in 46 innings, but he doesn't walk many either. Just 8 free passes allowed by Stoltz. Changeup probably his best pitch. Fastball will sit right around 87, 88 miles per hour.
Quinn Wolcott will call balls and strikes. Greg Gibson, I call him Gibby, he's over at first. Phil Cuzzy is at second, and Jerry Davis, the crew chief, is at third.
Do they really call him Gibby, or just everybody named Gibson call him Gibby, right? Yeah. He's either Gibby or Gigi.
The park in the park. And a nice feature here in San Diego. You can pull up a blanket, have a little picnic, and watch a big league game.
And a tale of 2 seasons for Stoltz. Really struggled in the month of April, but lately much better. 1-1 with a 3.12 ERA in May. 3 starts.
Padres going old school with the unis tonight. Hit well to center, but caught. That ball does not fly at night here. Cameron Maben with the catch. Talking with Ricky before the game. You could spend hours, days, weeks, months, years talking about what to do if you're a position player in terms of your offensive game in this ballpark. It's kind of the opposite of Coors Field. The ball doesn't fly. They've moved the fences in on a couple of different occasions. You can do everything right, JD. You can hit the ball exactly how you want to, but if you lift it and you don't hit it right down the line, there's a pretty good chance it'll be an out.
Yeah, big ballpark, and then when the marine layer settles in, the ball just doesn't fly very well at all here. And the biggest thing you have to do is just kind of be mentally tough and get over it. Realize those are the conditions that you're playing in.
Lake bounces to Jed Jerko, and quickly 2 outs. On the flip side, if you're a pitcher, you want to pitch here. And the Padres have always pitched well in this ballpark. And just to underline the offense, they have not finished in the top 5 in the National League in runs since 1997. So to be competitive, they have to pitch.
Yeah, normally, if you've got frontline starting pitching and a solid bullpen, that plays everywhere. So I think they've got Seth Smith's really performing well this year, but they have a bunch of guys in their lineup that just well below what they expected. And the question is, will it turn around? Is that, or is this who these guys are going to be as hitters all year long? That's the challenge in front of Bud Black, excuse me, as he tries to sort things out here.
Well, Anthony Rizzo struggled in his first major league experience with the Padres. 2011, 49 games, he hit a .145.
If you keep telling yourself, man, I can't hit here, you're not going to hit here. You just have to kind of get over it mentally. Don't worry so much about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but a good line drive hitter should be able to hit for a good average in a park like this. Hey, he didn't swing.
Just got hit. He didn't swing. Yeah, that stung.
He's tired of getting hit by pitches.
I think he's more tired of getting hit by pitches that are strikes.
Well, and a controversial one. Oh, that was kind of kneecapped. He's hit on the thigh. He's been hit down around the ankle, but this one right on the knee. That's smarts. That was a big play in the ball game yesterday. He was rung up on a check swing on a pitch that hit him, and replays made it fairly evident that he did not swing. That was a huge play in that ball game that the Cubs ultimately lost in 13 innings.
Starlin went 0 for 6 to snap a modest 5-game hitting streak. You can look at a lot of different offensive numbers in terms of who's the best offensive player the Cubs have had this year. I can tell you in wins above replacement offensively, Starlin leading the way on the club with 1 win above replacement, but that's a cumulative stat, and we're just over a quarter into the season.
Talked in the open about the offensive struggles of the Padres. The Cubs certainly have had their struggles as well. So you put these two teams in this ballpark for a 4-game series, and you expect a lot of low-run games.
Small lead by Rizzo. Here's a pitch by Stultz, and it's low. Eric Stultz, born in Plymouth, Indiana, 45 minutes south of South Bend, a pitcher and a center fielder for Bethel College in Indiana. Played hoops there as well. This will be an easy play for Jerko. He'll step on second, and the Cubs go quietly in the opening inning. The Padres are coming up against right-hander Jake Arrieta. Pulling up the rear in the majors, 3.02 runs per game. They were shut out last night by the Twins for the 8th time already this year. Cabrera at the top, Maben, Seth Smith, as JD mentioned, has been tremendous. Chase Headley at third. Yonder Alonso plays first. Jed Jerko coming off a terrific rookie season, but struggling this year. Will Venable is in right, Nick Hundley the catcher, and Stultz the pitcher.
Cubs defensively brought to you by Kia. Mike Bonifacio, Shearholtz, left, center, right. Old Castro on the left side, Barney Rizzo on the right. Wellington Castillo behind the dish. The Cubs, Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher. One Jake Arrieta. He's made 3 starts since coming off the disabled list. No decisions yet, a 2.70 ERA. And walks and high pitch counts have kind of plagued him a little bit early on. And it's a good park. You can be aggressive here, attack with that fastball against this lineup in this ballpark, and that sets him up well to pitch deep into this ball game. That's the plan anyway.
Facing switch hitting Everth Cabrera. And a strike called. So Arrieta pushed back. A few days to make this start. First outing in 9 days. He's got some crossfire action and was pulling some pitches, so just trying to kind of keep him in line. And again, they need some length out of him tonight. There are a few guys in the bullpen, including the closer Hector Rondon, who we will not see tonight.
Fazio, however, could give you an inning if need be.
Curve in the dirt.
I think this is where you want to make your pitch here. You take that one shot with a breaking ball in the dirt, see if you can get a swing and a miss. A guy like Cabrera, who doesn't have a lot of power, you don't want to waste a lot of pitches on him. So you've gotten the jump on him. He's in a defensive mode. Go ahead, try to make a pitch here. Finish him off.
Cabrera held up, suspended for the final 50 games last year with Cabrera for violating MLB's drug program. He was leading the league in stolen bases at the time of that suspension with 37. So it'd be a good idea to keep him off the bases here tonight. And they will do that as Barney will throw him out. Cameron Maben, who started the year on the disabled list, missed the first 25 games with a ruptured left biceps tendon. The injury actually happened on a diving catch in spring training, and he has admitted, yeah, I probably need to play a little smarter down the road just to stay on the field. Well, that's a big one for you.
If I was a big league manager, I would outlaw diving in spring training. Definitely outlaw headfirst slides in spring training, and I would discourage it all the time. Sometimes it's an instinct that kicks in during the regular season. You can accept it, but in spring training, just not worth it.
Arrieta with the 0-1. It's low and away.
Is that what you're talking about right there? Pulling that ball across?
Yep.
Stride out towards home plate. Let that lead elbow guide you to the target.
Right field, this is Nate Scherholtz. He's played a lot of games here. He's a former Giant. Well, we've said with all the close games the Cubs have played, and the Padres do the same thing, that the little things matter. And you need to get a guy over, whether it's a bunt, pulling a ball to the right side, what have you, that should really be at a premium this weekend because of what you mentioned, the run scoring environment, the fact these two teams go through stretches where they struggle.
Yeah, and for me, that's fun baseball. I think it's entertaining baseball. I love low run games, you know, when they're well played, well pitched, and every at bat takes on a little extra meaning. The ability to take an extra base or make a big play in the field. This is the one guy you obviously have to be careful with in the Padre lineup, the way he's been swinging it. One of the best in baseball.
Now, what's going on with him? He leads all outfielders, every one of them, in all of baseball in batting average. Going into tonight, he's been around for a while. He made his debut in 07 with the Rockies. He's always been a terrific pinch hitter. And he crushes that one to right. And it's gone. Seth Smith does it again. That's his 6th of the year. And after that blast, he's probably slugging over 600 so far.
Yeah, his OPS up over 1,000. I mean, that's where the big boys live. That's Pujols and company that put up numbers like Seth Smith. Here's the Ford home run replay. Looks like a little slider or cut fastball. He's always had a little bit of an uppercut swing. He's been a dangerous hitter, but Boy, he's unbelievable right now. You just don't see this. He's 31 years of age. He's been in the league a while. Lifetime .269 hitter. Good numbers. Big chunk of his career up in Coors Field. It will be very interesting to see if he can sustain it.
Well, he's feeling it right now.
He's back on that back foot, gets the front side down.
Chase Headley, due to become a free agent after the season. Already a DL stint this year, strained calf. Followed up a career year in 2012 with a disappointing year last year. Battled injuries.
Trade talk surrounding him last year will be again this year as the trade deadline nears.
He grounds foul. The thing is, when you look at Headley's 7-year career, last year's much more in line with his career than 2012 was. In other words, the bigger question might be, was 2012 the best year he'll ever have, as opposed to 13 being a blip on the radar?
Yeah, and I think maybe somewhere in between is the real guy. I think last year, injuries played a part of it.
I mean, I think when you're, and he's a doubles hitter, but I think when you're Chase Headley and you look at it, you go, well, after 12, I mean, that's the guy I'm going to be. That's the way you have to think. 28 years old that year, in the prime of his career, but can he replicate 31 homers, league leading 115 knocked in, best batting average up in the upper 280s. 2011 hit 289, 2012 286, but hasn't gotten close to that since. Just got a big piece of the home plate umpire Quinn Wolcott, who fortunately has a chest protector.
Another newbie, right? Not familiar with Quinn.
Yeah, filling in, I think, for somebody this weekend. Just off the corner, Arrieta wanted it.
Keep throwing it. Don't give up on that one. Check out our Menards pitch track. Shooting for that outside corner at the knees, just missing. Well, he'll do a little lobbying back there.
Lake racing over, and he cannot get it. Almost did.
Carried a little momentum into that wall. They're trying to, maybe a little communication problem out there. I think Junior called it, and then the other guy, the fan, said, "No, I called you off." So I was calling it. So they want to get together in case it happens again to make sure they know.
Yeah, they had a friendly convo right after that.
It's good teamwork.
Another 2-2. This time he freezes Headley to end the inning. Seth Smith with a 2-out shot into the seats in right, and the Padres lead 1-0 after an inning. Underway now in the second. Curveball low from Stoltz to Mike Olt. Leading National League rookies with his 9 homers and 24 knocked in. Two and 0. Injuries have ravaged the Padres pitching staff. Andrew Kashner is on the disabled list. He was their opening day starter. He's got a sore elbow. So does Robbie Erlin, who was supposed to pitch tomorrow. He just went to the DL today. Josh Johnson, Tommy John surgery. Called strike, 3-1.
Yeah, a little bit of a calculated gamble on the part of the Padres signing Josh Johnson with his checkered health history, but you can understand why they did it. Bounce back year from a guy who, when he's healthy and when he's right, is really good. At one time, one of the best in the game. And those are the gambles you have to take when you're kind of a small market club like the Padres are.
By the way, it is Tommy John's 71st birthday. Call strike 3. Olt was a third of the way to first base when he was rung up.
Fastball as change of pace from Stoltz. Cubs can think back to the John Danks game against the White Sox over at the Cell. Started the last road trip when they game planned against Stoltz, because you'll see a lot of the same stuff. Good, real good change up. Stoltz probably more of the big slower curveball than we saw from Danks, but then he'll sneak that fastball when you least expect it, and that one really well placed.
Now the catcher, Wellington Castillo, and a strike on the outside. Got a tweet from Sarah Wathen. Wants to know why Castillo's nails are painted. We can't see them right now because he's got batting gloves on, but catchers often paint their fingernails so the pitcher and the middle infielders can better see the signs, especially at night. And it just looks good.
Yeah, and it's nice going out after the game and have some style working. Speaking of seeing the sign, you see the story of Mike Krukow and Troy Tulowitzki?
I did.
So Kruk, who does TV for the Giants, thought that maybe Tulowitzki's getting some signs at his home ballpark because he's putting up outrageous numbers.
Cabrera to his left makes the play.
And when asked about it, Tulowitzki said, I just don't want to comment on it. And Kruk said, well, I'm just saying that's the way baseball people think. When a guy's that good in his own ballpark, he must be getting the signs. And then apparently tonight, Troy Tulowitzki, for his walk-up music when he comes up to hit, is playing I Saw the Sign, Ace of Base.
Love it. Nate Scherholtz, 2 outs, nobody on. Looks like a fairly big strike zone tonight from Quinn Wolcott. Gave the high one there, gave Stoltz the low strike against Olt. Fouled back. So the sky here in San Diego, it has looked all day like it's on the verge of raining, and it hasn't. It's just the May gray. Dark clouds, but a very pleasant day here in San Diego.
Right before the June gloom. But there was, I did hear the weather last night when we got in. There was a chance of rain at some point this weekend.
I was out and about quite a bit today, and just kind of looked like that,
weird.
but it never
weird,
did.
Isn't it? You know, typically see the sky look like that over San Diego. What about the fires? They got that all under control out here?
I don't know the answer to that. I hope so.
Maybe somebody in the booth that lives here could let us know. Quiggs, what's going on with the fires here? Good? Under control? Yeah, we're good. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Foul tip, strike 3. We have all kinds of great sources for our material. 1-0 Padres in the second.
We're willing to work hard to get it, too.
Town to play the Cubs, and we celebrate the decade of the 1940s. The planned festivities include music, food, and giveaways that mirror the 40s. For more info about the year-long celebration, go to WrigleyField100.com. Tickets are available for every game on that homestand, so visit Cubs.com to get your seats today. Arrieta gave up a first-inning home run to Seth Smith. Now faces Yonder Alonso. And he takes a strike.
Alonso really scuffling, hitting a .195. One of 3 regulars in the Padre lineup hitting below 200. As a first baseman, obviously, you got to do a lot better than that. Only 1 home run.
He's slugged in his career .380. Has not been a home run hitter. He's got gap power at 39 doubles 2 years ago. And the only season in which he played over 100 games. Came over from the Reds in the Matt Latos deal. He just broke his bat as he rolled to Barney. It goes 4-3. That was a legit break.
Wow. Yeah, that was a heck of a pitch, too, by Arrieta. 87-mile-an-hour look. That's a changeup. Hard sinking action, and pitches Alonso right off the end of the bat. Look at the late downward movement there.
Jed Jerko got a 6-year extension in April. 23 home runs last year, leading all rookies. Ready for a little trivia? Well, we'll test your ability to read the game notes. It was buried, but you could find it. He has 28 career home runs. All as a second baseman, 2 shy of the Padres' record at that position. Career home 30 runs. Home runs at second base is the career record. That's a swinging bunt. Arrieta will get the out. Nicely done. Who holds the Padre record for homers as a second baseman?
Didn't go that deep into the Padre game notes, but Dip Roberts?
Nope. A little more recent.
Mark Loretta.
Mark Loretta. Wow. Yep. Now Will Venable.
Another guy who's really scuffling. Had a nice year last year. Just a $196 with one long one.
And Smith playing left tonight. Carlos Quentin recently came off the DL, but he's day-to-day again with another injury. Just cannot seem to stay healthy. Quentin has a groin strain. Not sure if we'll see him at all in the lineup this weekend. Arrieta has a sign, and the 2-1 is on the way. And that ball is lined to Sherholtz. Frozen rope off the bat of Will Venable for the final out. His defense for Jake Arrieta to get Jed Jerko. 1-0 San Diego. Blackhawks games switch to Comcast Sportsnet for Blackhawks post-game live. Get the breakdown on Game 3, Western Conference Final from LA. Blackhawks post-game live Saturday following Game 3. Jamal Mayers joins Pat and Steve. Top of the third, and Darwin Barney looks at a strike. Key error, and a rare one by Darwin yesterday in the ninth inning, allowing the Yankees to tie it up. Fly ball to right, Venable over into the corner, and he's got it even after that out. Barney's still 5 for 11 against Stultz in his career.
Yeah, and when given a chance to start on the recent road trip, he had some pretty good at-bats, had a couple of good games. It's been tough for him to get playing time now because Valbuena's been so good. Mike Holt is settling in nicely as well.
Arrieta, career 138. A swing and a miss.
Cubs looking for their first hit. Stultz came into this game yielding a .327 batting average. Right-handed hitters were hitting .340 against him. But as I mentioned at the outset, much better of late for the crafty lefty. Typically gets the jump on the hitter, throws strike one 65% of the time. That's near the top of the league.
Well, JD, for the first time in our lives, we're here in San Diego, and we don't get to run into Jerry Coleman. The lows never stop improving. We look back on the life of a true American hero, born in 1924. He served in the Marine Corps as a pilot, World War II and Korea. Flew combat missions with the Torrid Turtles and Death Rattlers. Had a distinguished baseball career, Rookie of the Year 1949, All-Star World Series MVP 1950, 6 World Series with the Yankees, winning 4 of them. Got the Ford C. Frick Award in 2005, honoring his career as a broadcaster. And worked upstairs at old Jack Murphy / Qualcomm and here at Petco from 1972. Passed away this past January. He did miss 1 season as a broadcaster in 1980, but there was a good reason. He managed the Padres. But yeah, you can hang a star on that life, right?
Yep.
Jerry Coleman.
If Tony Gwynn is Mr. Padre, then Jerry Coleman's Mr. Padre B.
Bonifacio bounces to second, and great broadcaster, but what a great guy. We loved talking to Jerry every time we came here to the ballpark. Jerry Coleman. One nothing Padres El bat here in the 3rd inning. Nick Hundley followed by the pitcher Stoltz, and back to the top and Cabrera. Fouled out of play.
Surprised to see Hundley attack that first pitch. You know, sometimes we'll say, man, this guy never walks. And we just mean that he rarely walks. But for Nick Hundley, literally has not walked yet this year.
So the OBP matches batting average. You can finish a season. It's unlikely if you're an everyday player with a lower OBP than batting average. And we've seen occasionally that number not match up, and fans have tweeted or emailed. How is that possible? It has to be a mistake. Good curve there by Arrieta. Well, sacrifice flies do not count against your batting average, but they do count against your OBP.
Yeah, they're not in that bat, but they're a plate appearance.
And I think the theory there is, while you get a sacrifice out of it, you're not trying to make it out. Whereas a sac bunt, you are in the eyes of the scorer. Yeah. 1-2.
Hundley doesn't play every day. He's had 56 at bats. But, you know, that's kind of who he's been as a hitter. He's been a guy who's worked a lot of walks.
Nasty curveball to get him.
Yeah, well, you know, and if you're scouting Jake Arrieta tonight, you're taking note of a couple things. One, primarily the stuff. His command's been better so far tonight than we've seen, but the stuff has been really, really good. You know, we've seen mid-90s on the fastball, that power changeup that he broke the bat of Alonso on, and he snapped off some real nasty curveballs.
Mentioned Stoltz, two-way player in college, and he can hit a little bit. 196 in his career. One career homer was off Chad Billingsley last season. It was a 3-run shot. One and two.
Got a good feel for that breaking pitch tonight, and what I like is that they went to it early, because that's such a field pitch, that big curveball. So you might as well break it out early in case you don't have the feel for it. Give yourself some time to get there, to find it.
Back-to-back Ks at the bottom of the order. That'll bring up the leadoff man Cabrera with 2 outs.
I've heard some pitchers adopt the philosophy or talk about, yeah, I just try to establish my fastball early, and that way later in the game I have something that the hitter hasn't seen. And well, if you're capable of doing that, that's great. But for a lot of pitchers, that's difficult. And you hate to be headed to the showers thinking, man, I never did get my breaking ball going tonight.
So you made 15 starts as a Padre in 1992. And you were pretty good, 328 earned run average. What stands out is in terms of your brief career here in San Diego?
That was kind of a fun year, because I was with their AAA club down in Las Vegas after getting cut by the A's in spring training. It's a bit of a funky odyssey. I really enjoyed playing it. The weather was outstanding. The team stopped hitting. That's what happened. You know, at the beginning of the year, they were called the Four Tops. Tony Fernandez, Tony Gwynn, Gary Sheffield, Fred McGriff, and they were just lighting it up. They all ended up having good years. Gary Sheffield flirted with the Triple Crown that year.
Yep.
But the second half of the year, the offense really quieted down a great bit.
He won the batting title, hit .330. Bruce Hurst with your staff with 14 wins.
Talk about a guy who could pitch, could execute a game plan.
Called strike 3, fans the side. Well, we've got a nice long weekend here in San Diego. The Cubs hoping to make it a successful one, trailing here after 3, 1-0.
Cubs Authentics auction page every Sunday night for your chance to own one-of-a-kind game-used Cubs items. This week's auction will feature the 1937 Cubs throwback unis worn this past Sunday. Go to Cubs.com Authentics to bid on these jerseys and other unique game-used items.
Top four, 1-0.
Junior's in a nice little stretch. He's been able to cut down on the strikeouts some, make more contact.
Stoltz is a strike thrower.
Should be a good fit for Junior then. His biggest problem has been right-handed breaking balls. This lefty doesn't have any of those.
Coming in 17 consecutive games of no more than 2 walks. Likes to work fast. The 2-1 is bunted to third, and it will hit the bag. It's a fair ball. And the Cubs have their first hit.
Headley decides to let it roll, and probably the right thing to do. If he picks it up there, he's not going to throw out Junior legs, so he might as well let it go and hope that it kicks foul. Even though he knew as he watched it roll that highly unlikely that was going to happen. He needs to get out one of those brooms that they use in curling. Sweep that thing around the bag.
He's got an 8-game hitting streak now. There is a curling club near my house, and every time I drive by it and see the sign, I say, I'm going to try that sometime. I'd like to do that.
Get some of those crazy pants that the Norwegians wore during the Olympics. And what a great sport. You just hang out, have a couple cold beverages, roll the rock. Many of Anthony's plate appearances lately ending in either a walk or a strikeout. Pitching him very carefully.
His on-base percentage against lefties is over 400. Check on the runner late. Votto now on the disabled list. Stoltz 6'2", 220. 15th round pick of the Dodgers in 2002. Most of his career in this division. Dodgers, Rockies. Short stint with the White Sox in the last 3 years here in San Diego.
Kind of a career in which he's been floating between the big leagues and the minor leagues. The bullpen and starting last year, really the first time you get a chance to really settle in as a mainstay in the rotation. Made 33 starts. Pitched well, 203 innings. 11-13 with a 393.
He has pitched in Japan. 2010. 3-1. Hit a ton. Deep right center, and that baby will go into the sandbox. And the Cubs lead 2-1.
One single and then a bomb, and the Cubs have the lead. And boy, nice to see, because he's been so patient, willing to take his walks, and the hope is that sooner or later teams are going to go, well, this guy's not going to chase. We're going to have to come in. And he finally gets a pitch, and he unloads on it. Has to feel good against his former club. The Ford home run replay. Watch it go. Got the head out in front of it. Majestic home run.
And against the lefty, Castro thrown out on a nice play by Jerko. First out of the inning.
So the slugging hasn't been there recently for Anthony, as I mentioned, but a lot of it is just the way he's been pitched. It's not like he's been missing a lot of hittable pitches. They've been very careful with him. He has expanded on occasion to try to get something done, but for the most part, he's maintained that good, solid, patient approach. Again, that was all about working the count and then taking advantage of Stultz, who doesn't walk people. He's only walked 8. He's actually given up more home runs than walks now. That's the 9th home run he's allowed. He's only walked 8.
One and one to Alt. Couple of good change-ups here to get swings and misses. 1 and 2.
You referenced Bruce Hurst earlier. That was Hurst had that change-up. Here comes another one.
Fastball that time. Second 3-2 count for Alt, caught looking in the second inning.
I slipped a fastball by him down around the knees in that at bat. Let's see what he does here on 3-2. Looks like a change.
Number 8 for Anthony Rizzo against his former team. Probably feels a little extra good. Backhanded play. Cabrera, what a throw. 2 excellent plays by the middle infielders here to get outs. Castro and Alt robbed of hits.
Cabrera, quick feet, showing good range and a very strong arm. Airborne. Throws a strike to first base. Nice smooth play too.
Lollipop curve at 68, and it's a strike. You see Danny Worth today for the Tigers throwing knuckleballs in the 9th inning?
I did not.
It was pretty impressive. He was in there because his team was getting blown out by the Rangers, 9-2 the final.
Saw a little bit of that ball game. Yu Darvish pitched for the Rangers.
Some bad news, however, for the Rangers, even though they won today. Foul tip, strike 3 to end the inning. But Anthony Rizzo with a blast. 400 feet plus, one of the deepest parts of the ballpark, and the Cubs lead 2-1. In the Mets at 7:05, the first 10,000 in attendance get a Cubs cooler bag presented by Kraft Foods. Tickets are still available. You can get them at Cubs.com.
How about Jake Arrieta in the third? 3 up, 3 down, 3 punch outs. Got Headley, and then the third. Change up to get Headley, a couple breaking balls. Paints with a fastball on Cabrera. 1 base runner. That's the solo home run by Seth Smith in the first. So he really hasn't thrown a pitch from the stretch yet. Although his windup is very similar to working from the stretch position. So to really simplify his mechanics. There's not a whole lot going on.
A successful return for Chris Sale in a 3-2 win over the Yankees tonight. He improved to 4-0, beat David Phelps. One and one to Maben. Cutter for a strike. It's 1-2. I want to leave you hanging on the Rangers news. We'll get that to you here in a second. Not good news for Prince Fielder. Fouled off. Looks like he'll have season-ending surgery. He's got a herniated disc in his neck. And Jurickson Profar hurt again as well. Boy, that is a double whammy.
Well, they've had a bunch of them. A lot of injuries there. Well, all over baseball, but the Rangers are one of the teams that have been hit the hardest. Matt Harrison's done, right? The back. Three to 4 months the recovery time for Prince Fielder if he goes ahead with that surgery, and they figure if he does, he'll be ready to go by spring training at 100%.
Smith and Headley also due here in the Padres fourth. They're going in. Ball whacked out into center. It'll be caught though by Bonifacio. Held up. There is room to roam out there. If you like to run and you're an outfielder, this is the place to do it.
This is always a good place to come late in the year when so many other spots are hot and steamy. You get more energy when you come out here to San Diego. Cool, crisp, fresh air.
Yeah,
a little more bounce in the step.
That has been talked about in the past. You know, San Francisco, if the Giants are a little more rested than other teams because playing half their home games in that climate. I remember when the Marlins played at the old place. They didn't always take batting practice, but when they did, they would often take it in shorts because it was, 900 degrees, humidity 99%. Yeah. Wears you down
physically and mentally. What a year it has been for Seth Smith.
He's in a hitter's count here. I think there's probably a reason for that. Jake does not want to groove one like he did the last time.
Yeah, well, they were trying to crowd him there with the cutter and left it out over the plate. They were trying to go in on Maben last time, and they left it out and hit that line drive. So that's the thing, and that's the job of the catcher, to recognize if the pitcher can execute the pitch if every time you call for a pitch in and the guy misses, then all right, well, let's change the game plan. Let's throw more curveballs or just try to paint down and away.
.95, but outside. Andrew Cashner. Why doesn't he look happy? Because he's on the DL right now.
It's because he had to wear that stupid brown and orange hat.
It's a strike called. Scott Miller with a nice piece on foxsports.com. I will tweet it if you'd like to see it. But what's really interesting about it is Cashner's slider. I don't know if you read about that pitch, but Bud Black and Darren Balsley have talked about the slider maybe being the culprit in terms of the elbow issues. Smith walks. First one issued by Arrieta. Let's see here. The quote from Bud Black: he wraps the slider a little quicker than you'd like to see. So as good a pitch as that's been for him, if it is causing arm fatigue, that's a problem.
Well, he's got enough fastball where he can back off that slider a little bit, I would think.
Yeah, Balsley said he's throwing his fastball over 70% of the time, which is pretty high, but he's a guy at this point in his career who should be able to do that because his fastball is that good. So then, do you change the grip? Do you change the way you throw it? Do you let up a little bit? Do you scrap it completely? I think Cashner's thought right now is that ball will twist out of play. Is that once he's back and ready to go, he's just going to do what he did before?
Yeah, well, it's because it's all guesswork, right? What's causing the pain? What's causing the inflammation? Read a story the other day where Zach Greinke talked about that very thing, where he decided that he needed to back off his slider because he thought that was causing his elbow discomfort. So he would throw more curveballs, and he would even vary from start to start depending on the opposing lineup. If it was a tougher lineup, you might be willing to throw his slider more frequently. If it was a weaker hitting lineup, he said, well, I don't need to throw that many. I can rely on good fastball command. It's not like you can go exclusively fastball, but and it's interesting because I've never heard pitchers talk in those terms before about altering their game plan to protect their arm in terms of pitch usage, but it makes sense. Usually it's just pitch count. You say, well, we're going to back off. We're not going to throw as many pitches. Now that they're getting the kind of the next level of thinking, well, if I can hold myself to 10 sliders in the next couple of starts, maybe that'll help.
Another one in the dirt, 2-2.
I'm not smart enough to know the answer to all this, but you hear all the theories about the Tommy John stuff, and a lot of people are starting to talk about velocity. But when I was pitching 100 years ago, we were more concerned about the breaking ball causing elbow problems.
It's really a concern here. They have had a ton of reconstructions. Arrieta's 2-2 is bounced foul. Yeah, I could see Cashner thinking, well, if I don't throw that pitch, I'm not the same guy. And if I'm going to blow out, I'm going to blow out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't know if you're going to blow out.
You don't. Swing and a miss on a changeup. Now, that's the scariest part, though, is that the Marlins did everything right with Jose Fernandez, and he still blew out. So even if Cashner decides to be as cautious as possible, the Padres do all that stuff, and he still blows out, then you go, well, what's the difference?
You see the story on Fernandez? The most recent one I saw was how he talked about in the previous start, before the blowout start, that his elbow was bothering him, but he didn't say anything. because his team was in first place or they're winning, and he just wanted to keep, figured I can get around this. So that's the other part of the equation too. Guys have to be honest.
Popped him up. Does Alt have room? He's already at the barrier, and he's got it. So Arrieta works around the one-out walk to Smith and carries a 2-1 lead into the fifth. We're in the fifth, and it's time for Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider. You can follow him all season long on Comcast Sportsnet. Brought to you by Nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. Visit Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Any fish tacos today here in San Diego, Patrick? We always have to talk food with you at some point.
Yeah, no, I'm glad I'm still awake after an early morning wake-up call trying to get out here. So about 5 cups of coffee in, so I'm good.
Oh, good. Good. Well, Cubs lead on the Anthony Rizzo 2-run homer. That ball hit into the corner by Nate Scherholz. And it'll be a leadoff double here in the fifth. We were just talking about Andrew Cashner, who is on the disabled list with an elbow injury. Hopes to not be out much longer than the minimum 15 days. But I suppose it's a good time to go back and look at the Cashner-Rizzo deal.
Yeah, I think we'll be talking about this one kind of for years to come. And, the Cubs internally thought he'd max out as kind of a late inning reliever, and obviously if he, becomes some sort of guy that gets Cy Young votes and stuff like that, we'll look at the trade a lot differently. I think they looked at Rizzo as more of a sure thing.
Well, it also is interesting how people look at trades, who won and who lost. And we've talked about this before with other deals. I think ideally most general managers want both sides to win because you want to be able to make deals with that GM again in the future.
Yeah, you just want to win a little bit more. You want to feel like you get a little bit of the better part of it.
Or you don't care if the other guy won or not. You want to win. There's a base hit by Barney. Scherholz will be sent by Gary Jones, and the Cubs lead 3-1. Back-to-back hits to start the inning.
Nate Scherholz with a leadoff double, and it just felt like to me that was the best swing Nate's had in a month. And we talked about Darwin the first time he came up, that he's actually looked a lot better at the plate of late. He just hasn't had that many chances because Valbuena's been so good. Here he just goes down and works real hard with the legs to go down and get that one and deliver the RBI single.
Here's Arrieta. I think the other thing with that deal in particular, you're not trading an older pitcher for a younger pitcher or vice versa. You're trading an every fifth day performer with ace potential for a guy who might play 162 this year, so it is a bit of apples and oranges.
Yeah, no, you looked at the time, the Cubs were kind of thin in pitching, and that's still an area they're trying to address, and that's why I think people were surprised when they made that trade. But, you know, you look at what's gone on since then, kind of the injury wave that's hit pretty much, every team in baseball now. You just kind of wonder, Andrew Cashner or anyone else, just kind of, when you hit that iceberg.
I mean, and every GM in baseball right now, right? If you're thinking about locking up a young pitcher to a multi-year deal or acquiring an arm, I mean, you got to swallow pretty hard before you do that. I mean, it's frightening how many guys are going down.
Sack bunt by Arrieta. One out in the inning. Barney now in scoring position for Bonifacio.
Remember a couple of years ago in spring training, people were kind of making the Kerry Wood comparisons to Cashner, and Kerry Wood just shook his head. He's like, please don't do that to the kid, and kind of blew it off. But he has that, it's Texas, the 100-mile-an-hour heat, and when he's on, he's one of the best young pitchers in baseball.
The pitch, ground ball, base hit to right. Barney is going to be sent. The throw by Venable is not in time. Venable was playing in. Wondered if Gary Jones might hold the runner, but a good decision to send him. It's 4-1.
Patrick, you're hot, man. You're providing a lot of offense here in the top half of the fifth. Yeah, well, if the secondary lead was the key, a good tight turn to third base. And Venable, a little extra time as he got to that ball. It wasn't the most aggressive play on the baseball by Venable out there, right? But a good secondary lead, great tight turn at third base, and a good send by Gary Jones.
And the other story tonight, Patrick, is Rick Renteria returning here to San Diego. Spent 6 years on the big league staff, over a decade in their organization, and his office was pretty busy today.
Yeah, there were lots of people coming in and out, and with us, he's not particularly sentimental or anything like that. He said this is a business trip for him, but obviously, he's here now because of the connections he made in San Diego.
A wild pitch allowing Bonifacio to move to second. So Junior Lake with an RBI chance here. See Javier Baez starting to heat up a little bit. Home run tonight.
Yeah, when are they going to call him up here?
Knew that was coming. He's sixth.
Chris Bryant got one last night, right?
We were actually talking to farm director Jared Madison before the game, and he said that with Baez, it's not any sort of vision issues or anything like that. That was one internet conspiracy theory floating out there, but just that, people know he's an aggressive swinger, that he gets out of control at times. It's just a matter of him kind of learning when to lay off and not chase stuff. And I think if you see this last 5-10 games, I think things are starting to click for him.
And that's not atypical at AAA. AAA, you got more veteran pitchers. You might actually have better stuff with guys down in AA, more prospects who can light up the radar gun. But at AAA, you run into more veteran pitchers, guys who maybe have some big league time. Maybe their stuff is a little short, but they really know how to pitch, and they know not to give in. And so it's going to take a while for a guy like Baez to figure that all out.
He's now at 201 on the year, 4 for 5 tonight, 2 doubles and a home run. And yeah, I heard the conversation about the vision. It's the day-night splits. He has struggled a lot at night. It may not mean anything, but that was something that was just thrown out there. Bryant has been terrific at AA. Albert Almora has been red hot as of late. That ball crunched into straightaway center. It'll be off the wall after it hit the track. Lake with a double. Bonifacio in. It's 5-1. A 3-run 5th inning.
Starts out over the middle of the plate with that, and he just can't afford to work out over the heart of the plate. We talked about it earlier when Junior was up there his first at bat. Junior struggles with right-handed sliders, but the lefty Stoltz doesn't have one of those. And he hammered that pitch.
One last guy, Patrick. Jorge Soler just cannot stay healthy for any length of time, it appears.
Yeah, it's the other hamstring now at this point, and he's supposed to be rehabbing in Mesa. I think he's supposed to get there today. And yeah, it's really been an issue of just him staying on the field. He missed a lot of time last year with that stress fracture. Obviously, his kind of difficult process of defecting from Cuba, he missed a lot of development time there. So he's still only 22, but the Cubs need to get this guy healthy and on the field because he has produced, when he's healthy.
But you feel like the injury time he's missed probably has delayed his hopefully eventual promotion to the big leagues, maybe by a year down the road.
Yeah, I mean,
he's missed that much time.
Yeah, at this point, who knows? Just because he has a lot of physical tools. You look at, him just kind of walking into a clubhouse. But yeah, on the field, that's where he needs to. All these struggles we're seeing guys with, Baez or whoever it was. He's going to go through this too, and the faster he gets through that, I think, the better for this organization.
The one advantage he has, at least, in his limited time, looks like he's got a pretty good idea in terms of the strike zone. So, pretty good eye, pretty good approach at the plate. So, might not hurt him as much as a guy like Baez to miss that big chunk of time.
Fouled off by Anthony Rizzo. Patrick, thanks for the time as always.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Enjoy your fish tacos.
Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider. Three-run fifth.
If Rizzo pops up here with you leaving the booth, he's going to find out about it.
Yes, he will. The pitch. Dribbled foul.
Batting average with runners in scoring position only 235. I'd hazard to guess that the on-base percentage is significantly higher.
Yeah, a lot of walks. Although Lake was in scoring position in the fourth, he was at first. He was on base. He hit a two-run homer. Doesn't really matter where the runners are. Ground ball to second, and Jerko will get the out. Looks like that'll be it for Stoltz. Not real thrilled to see Dave Roberts come out. Looks like he wanted to finish this inning, but will not get that opportunity with Castro coming up. Pitching change here in San Diego. The Cubs leading 5-1 in the fifth. Stirrups. as he takes over for the starter Stultz.
21st time that Vincent has worked for the Padres. 0-1 with a 386. Very good strikeout to walk ratio. 20 punch-outs, 3 walks in 18 and 2/3 innings. Relies heavily on a cut fastball. Not a real hard thrower, but cutter an effective weapon for him. Local guy from nearby Poway, California.
Runner at third, 3 in.
It's like watching Eric Shaw or somebody out there with that old uni on.
Pirates have designated Wandy Rodriguez for assignment. 35 years old, gave up 6 runs in his last outing against Baltimore. Oh, 2 with a 6.75 and 6 starts with some DL time.
Missed a whole bunch of time last year as well.
I believe this was his player option season.
I believe he was our highest paid pitcher. Of course, the Astros, I think, were still paying a good chunk of that. It's a little easier to take for the Pirates. Have to cut him loose. Somebody give him a shot, I would think.
Yeah. Past success, left-handed.
Spin that curveball up there.
Vincent throws about 50% sliders. That was a fastball, and it's fouled out of play.
Well, he might get away with it, but I think on the plate here would be a mistake. I think he'll try to go off that outside edge. Cutter that was up in the zone a little bit. Have a pitch away, play away plan here with Castro as the outfield shading the other way.
The guys in the inning, Barney, Bonifacio, and Lake. Maiden to end the inning. Good to see the offense get it going in a pitcher's park. Cubs now leading 5-1 in the 5th. North Side fan photo for a chance to have it appear later on tonight. Brought to you by AT&T. 4-run cushion for Arrieta. 0-1 on Jed Jerko.
Talked in the open about the need for Jake Arrieta to pitch deep into this game because of the 13-inning game yesterday, and he's really set up to do so now.
Base hit wrapped into left by Jerko to start the inning.
We don't want to get crazy aggressive here, but we got a big lead in a pitcher's park. Jerko starting to show some signs of life with that bat. 2-home-run game here the other day. 23 home runs as a rookie last year. Third highest total ever by a rookie second baseman. Dan Uggla had 27 in 06. Joe Gordon hit 24 for the Yankees in 1938.
Venable, ball one. Son of a big leaguer, Max Venable. Double play ball. Barney to Castro to Rizzo.
Well, that'll help the pitch count. After the leadoff single, 2 outs, and a sharp ground ball to Barney. The key there, he went and got it, aggressively pursued that ground ball, and that allows Castro to make that turn at second base without having to deal with Jerko too much. Quick feet, quick release by Barney sets up Castro to avoid the hit and get the double play, much to the delight of Jake Arrieta.
They call that the pitcher's best friend. Here's Hundley with 2 outs. Christian Yelich, game-ending bases loaded RBI single. Miami doing that for the 5th time this year at home. Beat the Phillies 4-3. 19-6 at home. Best record in the majors at home. Worst road record 6-17. Suspended game in Denver. 2-2 Giants and Rockies in the 6th inning. Giants will next be at Coors Field in September. 82-minute delay after the 3rd. Then another 84-minute delay. They decided to suspend it. In years past, that rule changed maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago. That would have been a tie. But now, once you're past 5 innings in a tie ball game, you suspend it and then complete it at a later date, which I think is right.
Absolutely.
See, the Giants lost 2 guys yesterday. Kane had to leave early with a hamstring, and Santiago Casilla on an at-bat strained a hamstring and ended up on the DL. 5-1 Cubs after 5. 27th, hang with Comcast Sportsnet at the Coors Light viewing party. Come to Pittsburgh Keys in Elmhurst to win prizes. Enjoy Coors Light. Watch the Northsiders take on San Francisco. Be there May 27th. Great beer equals great responsibility.
Thursday, June 5th is Jersey Off Our Back night at Wrigley Field. Don't miss the action. Cubs take on the Mets. 6:05 start. Autographed game-worn jerseys will be awarded to lucky fans in random seats after the ball game. That's compliments of Majestic, the official on-field uniform of Major League Baseball.
Cubs 5, Pods 1. Angry cut at that one. Getting greedy. The shoes of the pitcher, Vincent. I suppose if he were on the free agent market, there would be a Vincent Price.
There would be a Vincent Price.
By the way, the Padres have played 47 games. Result strikes out. Only 12 of the 47 times they have scored more than 4 runs. 35 times they have scored 4 or fewer. So getting to 5 is significant.
Yeah, they have to feel like they're down 10-1 over there in that home dugout. 31 of their games have been decided by 1 or 2 runs. You don't score and you pitch well, you have a lot of low-run tight games.
Castillo with a towering fly out to right center. So Stoltz going just 4 2/3 now. They've got Don Roach, who I think at this moment is still scheduled to pitch on Saturday, although it might be technically TBD. They are. Now they've got Tim Stauffer going tomorrow for Robbie Erlin, so good to get their starter out early. Put a little extra pressure on that bullpen. Wide for ball 1. Ground ball right into the shift. That's the shortstop Cabrera on the other side of second, and a quick 1-2-3 for Vincent, but the Cubs lead by 4.
Come with happy inside and out at H.H. Gregg's Memorial Day sale. Save up to 30% store-wide on appliances, electronics, furniture, and more. Visit hhgregg.com or an H.H. Gregg store near you. That's right, Memorial Day is Monday. The official start of summer.
That name, San Francisco.
A time when a lot of clubs take stock of their situation, and the Padres will take a look at this and go, yikes. We need to find a way to generate more offense. Average RBIs, runs, hits, singles, slugging, on base percentage. And again, this is a ballpark that suppresses offense a good deal, but still, even with that factored in, this is a very poor offensive club.
Alexi Amarista pitch hitting for Vincent. And he looks at a strike. Curve missed outside. Cubs will have Edwin Jackson on the mound tomorrow. Travis Wood Saturday night, and then Jason Hamill on Sunday afternoon. Swung a real bad one that time, doing Arrieta a favor, 1-2.
And all three of those guys scheduled to pitch the rest of the games in this series, coming off very good starts. It's a changeup. It's a little choke grip. Sinking action at the plate. Amarista commits early.
Base hit. So after swinging at an awful pitch, he took a good pass and one to his liking and was on base to start the inning.
Yeah, it's always a dangerous pitch when you fool a guy with a changeup and you come back with another off-speed pitch. Fear is that the hitter's going to make the adjustment. He's going to tell himself, stay back, wait. So if that off-speed breaking ball stays in the strike zone, it is likely to put a good swing on it.
Cabrera 0 for 2.
Amarista with 3 steals this year. He's been caught once. Normally you would think, well, at this stage of the ball game, down 4, they're not going to take chances on the bases, but you're having such a hard time scoring runs, they may feel like they have to do a little running, try to generate some offense that way.
About the Royals today, optioning third baseman Mike Moustakas to AAA Iowa. Just 152.
Yeah, well, he cannot accuse them of not being patient. They waited a good long while.
They did. 25 years old. There goes the runner as Cabrera fouls off. Padres aggressive even though they're down 4.
Dave Roberts, who's filling in tonight for Bud Black, was an outstanding base stealer.
Had the big steal against the Yanks with the Red Sox.
And that's, you know, again, that's just the nature of this club. They just don't have a lot of firepower, so if the math adds up, if the times you get on the pitcher's delivery to home plate tell you, yeah, we got a real good chance of stealing this bag, it makes sense to go for it.
Miguel Olivo, as I think a lot of people anticipated, released by the Dodgers after the dugout altercation with Alex Guerrero. They ended up with part of Guerrero's ear bitten off.
Down at the AAA club?
AAA Albuquerque.
Yeah, that's not. There's no, policy in the book. if you bite somebody's ear off, you're going to get released. But there's a pretty good chance.
Yeah. Stan Kasten, the Dodger president, quote, "It was unimaginable, inconceivable, and frankly unforgivable."
Has not had to make many pitches from the stretch tonight. You don't want to let this base runner affect you too much. You got a comfortable lead here. Been in a nice rhythm. You don't want to completely disregard him because he is capable of stealing a base, but you don't want to let him upset your rhythm too much. Been really sharp tonight.
He really had been in a rhythm. A couple of base runners before this inning. He did give up the home run in the first. The only damage done to this point. Cardinals swept the Diamondbacks 4-2 the final. Today, St. Louis has now rattled off 7 out of 8. D-backs 18-31.
Cardinals in a stretch of 19 out of 22 at home after a very road-heavy early portion of their schedule. So it kind of set up for them to make a little bit of a run here at Milwaukee, and that's exactly what's happening. This is Jake Arrieta's 4th start since coming off the disabled list. Thrown 81, 82 pitches in his last 2 starts, so this is probably going to be his last inning. You saw Carlos Villanueva out there warming up. Wow, it's like the 8th inning of a 1-run game. He's really letting Amarista get into his head a little bit here.
Mets beat the Dodgers 5-3. Zach Greinke had his streak of 21 consecutive starts of allowing 2 or fewer runs come to an end.
He pitched 5 innings tonight. 3 runs allowed, 1 earned. That's made him work. 101 pitches in 5 innings for Greinke. Jonathan Neese got the win. He's been good. 3-3 with the 270.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Got all the pitchers working tonight. Straight change and a dandy. Reaching out, hoping he can stay in that strike zone long enough to get a piece.
Maben 0 for 2. Edinson Volquez got his 2nd win of the year. Pirates over the Nationals 3-1. Base hit left field. And for the first time tonight, the Padres have 2 on.
Timing couldn't be better from their perspective with Seth Smith due to bat here with 2 men on base. You can make a case for Seth Smith to be the most valuable player in the league when you compare his performance relative to his teammates. So many guys struggling, but Smith has been lights out. And good fortune there by Maben as he got jammed, but able to get the base hit. So, have a little confab here at the mound to talk about Smith and how we're going to approach him.
Was asking him what he wanted to do on the first pitch at the end of that conversation. Well, the 13th inning has suited the Indians pretty well here lately as we check out our AT&T Uverse multi-view. Carlos Santana, 2-run double with 2 outs in the 13th. So they win their second straight game in the 13th. This one on the road in Baltimore, 8-7.
He's won 4 in a row now. There's a couple games under 500. I didn't say everything Chris Bosio had to say, but I saw Melody said changeup at one point. I don't know if that's what they're going to start him with. It is.
Yep. In that Chris Sale outing, he sent down the first 17 Yankees he faced. His first start off the DL. Yeah, you can put Seth Smith all over all the leaderboards you can find offensively. Been that good. White Sox over the Yanks 3-2 tonight. The 0-1 is a strike, so off speed change, curveball to get it to 0-2.
So if you're going to throw him a change or a fastball, rather, I think you got to try to jam him up and in. Very careful away, down and away, stay away from his power.
Bounce to Rizzo, and he'll step on first. Second and third, 2 outs.
Yeah, Sale announced his return in a big way, didn't he? 6 innings, 1 hit, struck out 10. Well, crisis averted so far. The dangerous Smith dispatched. And now Headley. 0 for 2 with 2 punch outs so far. Decided to stay soft throughout that at bat with Seth Smith, and here's another over the top curveball. Uncle Charlie in slow-mo.
What a good nickname for that pitch. I think it could be the Tumbler.
Yellow hammer. He's been here a good long while now. And you see these old-time unis. You see, I think Gary Templeton in that era.
Carmelo Martinez. One 1-2. Headley to chase. And he gets his 7th strikeout. The Bluebirds out here in San Diego with the home team trailing the Cubs 5-1.
On Friday, June 6th, the Cubs take on the Marlins. Remember, next homestand, we're celebrating the 1940s. The first 10,000 fans at the ballpark on that day will receive an All-American Girls Professional Baseball League bobblehead. Is that Gina Davis? It has to be. This is number 4 of 10 special Wrigley Field Friday bobblehead giveaways. Tickets are still available, including in the Budweiser bleachers. So visit Cubs.com today. Come out to the ballpark to get that bobblehead, and you've got a gift for Dad for Father's Day. He's the lefty, the lone lefty in the Padres bullpen, and he's been good, pitching to an ERA of 1. 20 games, 18 innings, 16 punch-outs, 13 hits for the former Ray.
Signed by the Angels in 06 out of Venezuela. So I got an interesting note on Mr. Torres as he faces Darwin Barney.
What do you got?
Okay, so he is left-handed. He's a natural lefty. He started throwing right-handed when he was 13 to preserve his left arm and to throw some more BP. He can throw in the 80s right-handed.
No way.
So that's another thing to think about for youngsters who might show a penchant for ambidexterity.
Yeah.
Save one arm by using the other. Was it Pat Venditt or Venditti? I don't know how he says his last name in the Yankees organization. Throws.
Yeah,
with
Greg
both
Harris,
arms.
former reliever, pitched a little bit with Montreal, Texas, I believe. He did it kind of just because he could, maybe once or twice. He didn't actually do it with any regularity.
Chopper to Headley, little bobble, throw to first, save. It'll be an error on Headley.
Well, he heard the boos when he struck out for the 3rd time, and immediately the ball bounced his way, and he gets up in on, can't handle it. E5 and more boos for Headley.
Dave Roberts out to talk it over at first with Greg Gibson, but I guess his staff would tell him not to challenge. And he will not.
I think, didn't Yogi say you can throw with both hands, he's amphibious? Something like that. Well, I thought Jake Arrieta's night might be over after 6. I saw Villanueva up. There's a chance that it is. Oh, nice play.
Nice play by Alonso on purpose. He let it drop to get 2. 3-6-4 on the double play.
Good heads up play by Yonder Alonso. This ball popped up. He's well positioned. Short little backhanded play there. You see Barney caught in between, and a little hesitation by Arrieta out of the box. Turns that into a double play.
The risk, and there is a risk to doing stuff like that. And the risk is that if you let it bounce and it bounces away, then you might not get anybody. But that was certainly a risk worth taking, especially with his team down 4 runs. See that? When I see stuff like that, JD, I mean, that's a guy who knew what he wanted to do, had all the scenarios in his mind before fielding the ball, and shows good instincts.
Yeah, and that's a play that should be talked about a lot by first baseman. That's a kind of talking ball with your manager, coach. Hey, what about this play? Yeah. Got to be ready for that.
Briefly mentioned the story of Santiago Casilla. So he took a meaningless at bat last night for the Giants. Bruce Bochy said he didn't even know if he would swing. Well, he did. And then he said he ran down the line like I've never seen before, and he strained his hamstring and ended up on the DL. And you saw Arrieta really stretch to try to beat that double play ball. Another reason why you got to be careful if you're a pitcher. You don't want to stretch it too much and end up hurting yourself.
Right.
It's not worth it. You can try too hard in this game sometimes.
Yes, and you can get outside of your game a little bit and put yourself in peril. We've seen it with Josh Hamilton getting hurt with a head-first slide. Bryce Harper, kind of that reckless style of baseball.
Charged by Jerko, and it's stretch time here in San Diego. It's been a good one for the Cubs to this point, leading 5-1. On to Cubs in-game live on CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class. If you referenced Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn. Yeah, we're on Tony Gwynn Drive.
Yeah, a lot of Tony Gwynn Drive and a little Tony Gwynn here. And Tony's dealing with some cancer. We wish him the best. What a hitter. My goodness. Saw the numbers for Carlos, not pretty. Chip away at that ERA. 3 starts in a row where he got knocked around pretty good back in April. One in particular in St. Louis when he allowed 9 earned runs in 3 innings. It really inflated that earned run average. Made 4 appearances moving to the bullpen, not with any real regularity. Tough to stay sharp when you're in this role, but that's the fate he has been dealt, and he'll deal with it. A good solid pro, and typically it doesn't bother him. Long stretches of inactivity, usually comes out and still has good command of his pitches.
6'2", 215. 31 years old. Santiago in the Dominican Republic. His first pitch is a curveball strike on Alonso. The line on the starter Arrieta: 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Gave up the homer in the first inning to Smith, and that was it. Alonso grounds to Barney.
Yeah, he took that at bat in the top half of the inning just to bunt and to save a bat on the bench. Cubs carrying an extra bullpen guy, only 4 guys on the bench, so it made sense for Arrieta to take that at bat and try to put down the sacrifice bunt. On the mound tonight, he was outstanding. That curveball was really, really good. Changeup. You know, he had all of his pitches right from the get-go, and didn't really have to fight to find anything. You hear a lot of guys, high school players, college players, and some players whose careers end in the lower minor leagues say, yeah, I just couldn't hit the curveball. There's a lot of big leaguers that can't hit a good curveball. Jed Jerko played at West Virginia University. Not to be confused with the University of.
Yeah. See, you'll never get that wrong again.
All-state hoopster in high school. Tormented Big East pitching, and then a second-round pick of the Padres.
He went. That's a strikeout. 2 down.
I have to wonder if he's going through this year a little bit of what Starlin Castro went through last year. You know, Jerko did a lot of good things for the Padres last year, but he was not a particularly patient hitter. And just wondering if he got the message that they'd like to see him be a little more patient and work more counts. And, you know, we saw how that worked out for Starlin last year.
Okay, so the story out of Atlanta tonight, really interesting. The Braves scored 3 in the 7th to beat Milwaukee 5-4. So here's the scenario. They had 2 coaches missing, Brewers, Rick Kranitz and Lee Tunnell, pitching coach, bullpen coach. They were attending the graduations of their children, as Bud Black is doing tonight. He's away from the Padres. So the minor league pitching coordinator, Rick Tomlin, took over as pitching coach, and Marcus Hanel, the bullpen catcher who's been there forever, kind of the guy running the bullpen. Ron Renicky wanted Brandon Kinsler, a right-hander, and lefty Will Smith to warm up in the bullpen, but there was a miscommunication, and only Kinsler was warming. Renicky didn't know that. There's a topper. Probably have to finish the story. Well, we don't have time, unfortunately, as Castillo couldn't pick it up. Should be a hit. And it is preventable. So Ron Renicky comes out, makes a pitching change, asks for the lefty, and he wasn't available.
So what they do?
So, okay, well, first he got Kinsler, and then Will Smith had to come out, and we had not warmed up, is what happened. He asked for the lefty. Okay, so he asked for the lefty. There was no lefty there. Kinsler was warming up. They ended up bringing Will Smith in. They asked the umpires if he could have more than the 8 warm-up pitches. And I guess they called New York. Fieldon Culbreth, the home plate umpire, asked Freddie Gonzalez first what the situation was, and Freddie rightly said no.
Yeah,
you can't have more than 8. Then they called New York, and the officials there said no. And the Brewers ended up losing the game. And Ron Renicky took responsibility, said that's on me. So how about that?
Wow.
He went onto the video replay headset, Fieldon Culbreth, just to find out.
Yeah,
called a supervisor.
I'm surprised there would even be the conversation that there might be wiggle room there, that he would get more. But so in other words, Renicky went out and said, I want the left-hander. And even though he wasn't up, he was forced to bring him into the game.
Yeah.
They couldn't say he's not up, so okay, give me the other guy.
So what happened? Well, he did bring in Kinsler. So he asked for Kinsler and Smith to get up. He brought Kinsler into the game, thought Smith was warming up, and then
made another
Kinsler, I think,
change.
got an out, came back up, said, I'll take the lefty now. Oh, there's no lefty warming.
And somebody had to pitch at
And
that
I guess
point.
Zach Duke volunteered, but they picked Smith instead. They were ahead 4-2 at the time. They lost the game 5-4. I didn't explain that very well, but it was kind of confusing just reading the game story here from the account of Tom Haudricourt in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. What a crazy night. The headline just call it, or the lead call it the great bullpen snafu. Ground ball, base hit. Venable stops at second. I guess when Culbreth called New York, Smith had to stand on the mound but was not allowed to throw a pitch.
Right.
So he had to wait.
He'd already been brought into the game. If the delay takes place while he's down in the bullpen, he can keep firing away.
And as you know, in Atlanta, the third base dugout is the visitor's dugout. The bullpen is in the left field corner, so it's not as if the manager can easily see.
Right.
And I guess they must not have a monitor in the dugout.
And you just wonder how the verbal communication was fumbled.
Chris Denorfia batting in the pitcher's spot. Hit hard to right at Barney. This will end the inning. Padres get two two-out hits to let us sort out what happened in Atlanta. And no runs. So it worked out. 5-1.
Everett sending his kids Retro Toy Sunday at Wrigley Field on Sunday, June 8th. It's a 120 game. Taking on the mighty Marlins. The first 5,000 kids 13 and under will receive an Andy Kafka minifigure, which is the fourth of 10 Cubs Retro Toy giveaways. After the ball game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
I mean, does life get any better? Sit in the sand and watch a ball game.
Yeah.
You're right on the field, essentially. Here's Blaine Boyer.
Numbers at AAA El Paso, 1-2 with a 332 in 18 ball games. He hasn't been in the big leagues for a couple of years now. So welcome back, Blaine Boyer. Seems to be overly worked up about that.
First major league appearance since April of 2011. Replaced Robbie Erlin on their active roster earlier today. Marty Robbins, El Paso,
out in the West End.
Line shot caught by Venable.
Look out for Boyer. Good swing for Lake. Single double already tonight. Solid night at the plate for Junior.
Boyer did not pitch in 2012. Returned to baseball. Spent part of last year in Japan. Rizzo with the go-ahead home run in the 4th inning. It was walloped. 417 feet worth. On the outside corner.
Try to climb the ladder with a fastball here. Didn't really climb it, did he?
Found back.
3-1 fastball from Eric Stoltz. Ends up in the sandbox. Big guy out there is going to clobber somebody diving for that ball.
Slicing liner, dipping, and it gets past. It's going to roll to the wall. Smith will chase it down. Rizzo around second and stop there. I believe they've given him a double.
Yeah, a little bit protect mode there by Rizzo with 2 strikes. And he lines that ball the other way. It's sinking, slicing a little bit. Smith tries to make a sliding catch. I think you have a better chance on a ball like that if you just either dive or stay on your feet and reach. Kind of lose ground when you slide feet first. Of course, what he would say, well, by sliding, hoping that I can at least knock it down if I don't catch it. Accomplish either one of those things, and Rizzo's on second base with a 1-out double.
Some life on that fastball. 1-2.
Command suspect, but yeah, giddy up at 94 with some run. Late swing by Castro.
Got it. Come on, JD. Oh, we had it.
They might have pulled a muscle. Let's go on the DL. I got a little oblique thing going on. It's out of my range.
For the record, it did not land in our booth. There's a little ledge right out in front, and it hit that area. Look out.
Boyer holding the ball a good long while, and Castro asking for time and getting it just as he was ready to deliver. Hard to maintain your concentration standing in there so long. Yeah, video evidence will show that I made at least a token effort, but it was beyond my reach. About a foot away from an RBI double for Castro. Hit the ball hard last time. Lined out to Maben out there in center. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
The game going on right now. It's up in Seattle. Astros and Mariners are tied at 1, but the Mariners have the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th with 1 out. Jose Altuve with a home run, the second. He's also got a stolen base, hitting .310 on the year. Popped him up into short right. And Venable will make the play.
Altuve can hit a little bit. Hit for a lot of power, and he doesn't walk, so he has to hit for a high average. Typically does. So Castro 0 for 4 tonight. He was 0 for 6 yesterday, wasn't he? In that 13-inning game.
Tom Haudricourt just tweeted that they do have video monitors in the dugout that allow the manager to see the bullpen. So you're going to hear more, I think, about what happened with the Brewers tonight in Atlanta for sure. Smith gave up 2 hits, got 1 out, was not charged with any runs. Kinsler took the loss.
Yeah, the big concern, obviously, is the health of the pitcher. You force a guy into the game, and he's pitching, he's not properly warmed up.
Bounce to the shortstop. That's Cabrera. And he'll get Alt to end the inning. Bottom 8, 5-1 Cubs.
Chicago Cubs baseball summer camps offer children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate Major League experience for 6 one-week sessions in various Chicago area locations. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive access, and unforgettable moments. Visit Cubs.com/camps. Sign your kiddo up today.
Second inning of work for Carlos Villanueva, and a curveball is low. Top of the order for the Padres. Cubs leading by 4 late.
Trailing after 7 innings this year, the Padres have pulled out 3 wins. They're 3-24.
Roller into right.
I suspect those 3 wins came in games that are closer than a 4-run margin. Could look that up for you, probably, but that would take way too much effort.
It's the 7th San Diego hit. On the corner, Neighbor didn't like it at all.
Pitcher's pitch. I understand his frustration. Padres, like a lot of clubs, trying to identify young players that they want to move forward with, sign maybe into a multi-year deal. Has been hurt a lot, though. Under contract through 16 with an option for 2017.
Yeah,
Same
intriguing
thing
guy. If he can't stay healthy, he can run. Stole 40 bases in 2011. He's not hit for consistent power, but he's one of those guys, when he does connect, he can hit it a long way. You got to have speed in the outfield here, as we've discussed.
Here in this ballpark and in this division in the National League West, you think about the ballpark in San Francisco, Coors Field, so much room to cover there. Ballpark in Phoenix has a spacious outfield. Dodger Stadium. Yeah, they all do, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, speed's valuable, obviously, everywhere, but in these bigger parks, even more so. You never heard a manager or general manager say, "Yeah, we can deal with a sluggish center fielder."
Challenging a hitter for Villanueva doesn't necessarily mean throwing a fastball, but means being somewhere around the plate. He doesn't want to walk himself into a jam here, leading by 4. He did go with heat and may have been fouled.
Four-seamer at 90 right out over the plate. But it's the possibility of the off-speed pitch that works to Villanueva's advantage there. The hitter has to be wary of the off-speed stuff, so he's a little late on the fastball. Justin Vin cranking it up.
Swing and a miss. Got him on a slider.
Might have been a changeup. Just a perfect pitch.
I think you're right.
And this struggling Padre club, they've got a lot of guys who aren't particularly patient, and then there's always that desire to come through to get the hit. You know, the guys get into swing mode, and a guy like Villanueva could take advantage of that.
So Seth Smith was the backup quarterback to Eli Manning at Ole Miss. Never took a snap in 3 seasons. He did get into a game as a wide receiver during his junior year. I'm sure he and Todd Helton had a lot of conversations when they were teammates with the Rockies about the Mannings.
Smith played there, and then Helton was a quarterback at Tennessee. Peyton, and then I think Matt Holliday was a highly recruited high school quarterback.
He was. Yeah. Oklahoma State tried to get him to play quarterback. Although Matt seems like the kind of guy who'd rather tackle people than be tackled.
The linebacker. He probably didn't tiptoe out of bounds very much when he was carrying the ball.
Steele calls off Villanueva and throws to Rizzo in plenty of time for the out. Second, 2 gone for Chase Headley.
There's another example of a guy that's probably in swing mode right here. He struck out 3 times tonight. He's got a man in scoring position. He got booed pretty good the last time he was up there. Just trying to make something happen here.
Strike 1 call. Mariners have grabbed the lead in Seattle, leading 3-1 over the Astros in the 7th. They got 2 runs on an infield single. How about that? Michael Saunders.
Who the back runner was.
Blocked by Castillo. Arrieta went 6. Villanueva in his 2nd inning of work. Rough start on the other side for Eric Stultz. Gave up 5 in 4 2/3. Vincent Torres, Boyer out of the bullpen. Samardzija, Jason Hamill, former Padre John Baker. Got the feet up.
Hard time getting together on the signs here. Be heavily with all that bat wagging. I remember that happening to me on a couple of occasions. You're trying to see the signs, and the guy keeps flipping the bat. He said, "We're not going to play here until you stop."
2-2.
And some guys just lay it out there in front of home plate, just kind of waggle it back and forth, and you're trying to look in for the sign. You say, "Come on, man."
Pitch popped him up on the back pedal. Castro waving his arms emphatically, and the inning is over. Padres scored in the 1st. They have not crossed the plate since. 5-1 Cubs. Photo of the game. In the future, you can tweet your photo to hashtag Northside Fan Photo for a chance to have it appear in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Boyer back out for the 9th. Gave up a hit, no runs in the 8th. One of those Braves guys who is from the area, from Atlanta. third-round pick in 2000. Bounced around since his time with the Braves, St. Louis, Arizona, Mets, pitched to Japan a little bit last year. Venable makes the grab to get Castillo.
Pitching's been the strength of this ball club, the bullpen in particular. Houston Street, the closer, has been perfect in save opportunities this year. Bullpen ERA is the second best in the league, trailing only the Washington Nationals. Overall ERAs bested only by Atlanta.
Whoa,
some quality work right there. Goose Gossage, Memorial mustache.
Well, baseball and fashion, they go through cycles. We seem to be in that place now that most teams, aside from the Yankees, don't have grooming policies, and some interesting facial hair working. Now, can you see Derek Jeter with the beard? You know,
maybe that's the first thing he'll do when he retires.
Not shave.
I'm not going to shave.
Now, do they have off-season grooming policies? I mean, if Jeter wanted to not shave for a couple of weeks, would they?
Not. No, I think he'd be good.
He'd be okay.
I think that's just an on-field.
Ball 4. But knowing Jeter, he wouldn't let it go. Captain.
Yeah, he show up at Old Timers Day next year with a big old bushy beard. Big old belly, 40 pounds overweight. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? What's been doing? I just went fishing.
Haven't done a thing. It's the day I quit. Strike called on Darwin Barney. Well, the guys you worry about are football players, because especially the linemen. They're paid to eat, really. You know, these guys are all 300 pounds. So the second you retire, you don't think they're going to get up to 4 bills? Venable makes a catch. I'm used to eating 12 eggs for breakfast. I can't go back to 5.
Either that, they either get really big, or just because they're not training anymore, maybe they just change the whole lifestyle. Not pumping all that iron.
Villanueva might get a save tonight. Can't tell you the last time I've seen it. Essentially, he came in to start the 7th with a 4-run lead, but if he pitches the final 3 innings, he qualifies for a save.
Because there was that game 2 years back, the Rangers and Baltimore, 30-3 or something. That was the final score.
It was a save.
Somebody got a save, yeah.
That's old school. Ball strike 3. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It's the Cubs 5 and the Padres 1.
Watch the Sox slug it out with the Yankees. Coverage starts at 6:30 with White Sox pregame live. White Sox Yankees tomorrow at 6:30 on CSN.
Follow the Chicago Cubs with MLB.com at bat for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, or Windows Phone 8. Get scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or go to Cubs.com for details. Villanueva looking for his 7th career save.
This game has followed the script. They got 6 innings out of Jake Arrieta, and just 6 innings, but 6 very good innings from Jake tonight. Now Carlos Villanueva with a chance to finish it. Saved the other arms in the bullpen after the 13-inning affair yesterday.
It would be nice. 1-1. Freshen up everybody out there for tomorrow night. Pop fly left field. Lake on the move. And we'll get to the spot. 1 out. $21,263 in the ballpark tonight. Jerko has grounded out, singled, and struck out. Change-up strike. Here it comes. Overthrew it.
Yeah, hooked up a little bit. trusted it, he could probably get in there with a fastball and jam him. So if you're going to go with another changeup, which has been a really good pitch for Carlos so far here tonight. Oh, that delivered. Flying changeup.
Three and two. Venable on deck. I got it. Come on.
I was worried about shooting a deflection in the mug on that one.
Two shots at it tonight.
Just a little bit short.
A couple of bounces to Michael. 2 down.
From a very good start to this road trip after a disappointing end to the homestand yesterday, letting one get away against the Yankees. Would have been a nice 4-1 homestand for the Cubs.
Curve is over. Will be down tomorrow, but providing a very valuable service here tonight. Trying to get a save for his efforts. Back with you Tuesday night from San Francisco here on CSN.
And, you know, he gave up a couple hits there in the 7th, but it was after 2 were out, so he's never really been under enough to rest. They had Justin Grimm up a little bit, but never a situation where Ricky Renteria had to get other guys up and get them hot and maybe come into the game. So it's been just a kind of a down night for everybody in that bullpen except for Carlos.
The 1-2 is way high. Renteria in his return to San Diego. 3 more after this one. 2-2 on the way. Change up foul. Pitch, strike 3 called. Cubs win. Villanueva gets the save. Handshakes all around in the visitors' dugout.
Venable got fooled by the fastball. A lot of soft stuff from Villanueva, and Venable got caught looking at this fastball right over the plate at the knees. Nice job by Arrieta first, and then Carlos Villanueva coming out of the Cub bullpen tonight. Game following the script that man right there hoped it would.
Our GMC professional grade player of the game is the starter And the winner for the first time this season, first decision